Smith Steel. Hands of Steel. No, Scotty, I'm not talking to you, punk. I'm talking to your dad. Ed, did you know that I saved your son's life, potentially? Yeah, after I gave him hands. He blew up this Mexican gangbanger in a bar and thought it was really funny. He took pictures and actually gave me a couple. I think I actually might still have some of those. And point was, kind of like Denzel Washington in, what was that? What was that movie he was in with fucking Ethan Hawke? You know what I'm talking about, where he beats the fuck out of dude and he's a Russian and that Russian was somebody he's connected. Well, it turns out that this Mexican was connected too. A lot of them are. That's why you should be polite at all times to everybody, whether they're Mexican, black, white. You just never fucking know. Because what happened, turns out that this guy had some friends and they found out where Scotty lived and they started calling his house and telling him they were going to blow it up and fuck him up and yada yada. So Scotty, kind of like how he was before Jamie, was pissing down his leg because, you know, he wasn't shit before I gave him hands. And he was worried, man. So what I did, because I can do that, you know, I have a lot of friends, man. Kind of what you would call connected in a way. I mean, it's like this, Ed. I got pulled over by Sacramento police the other night for a headlight that's out, right? And it went really well. I was polite. I didn't mouth off like I've done in the past. And turned out that it seems that they got a big file on me, man. They come back and said I was hanging out with sack maniacs and boggos and yada yada, and it's like, damn, you know, they're really keeping tabs on that shit. And what I'm saying is that if it's not for me, your son isn't shit, okay? He's not Scott Smith, Hands of Steel. He's not making $60,000 a fight, and he very well might be dead. And then on top of that, Sasha, who left him, right, in the dust, when she was telling me she loved to watch me spar, I'm wondering, wow, a potential future, right, that could have happened is me saying Bon Voyage, Scotty, you know, when he was pissing down his leg before he fought Jamie Hart. He had no idea how to fight a lefty, okay? I gave him that. I crafted that 9 seconds, Ed. Practiced it every day for 8 weeks. I even put on a cage on my head and let Scott punch me. And then, you know, he goes on to bigger and better things, and this punk ass starts allowing people out of his camp to talk shit on me. Tell you what, dude, is your son gay? Really? I mean, can anybody tell me that Scott Smith isn't gay, and that when he fell in love with his hands and then James put him on Queer Street, Scott somehow developed an affinity for James and that hold fast on the back of his, you know, I mean, what the fuck is hold fast, dude? No one really has an idea. Make way? I understand that one, but you know, the possibilities are endless. And then remember that time that you told me the reason you let me go is because I didn't come on the yard and kick ass and get everything up to speed, is what you said, basically. And it's not like I'm a newbie in the construction game, fool, okay? I turned my back on it because I would have beat people up, Ed. I don't like a lot of construction guys because, you know what? A lot of them have attitude, man. And think because they fucking pound nails and shit, which is an honorable profession, that they're in some way fucking badasses and they're going to kick the shit out of people, right? And I could have worked for my uncle in San Diego, but I chose not to, right? And when you told me that shit, I was like, you know what, man? Call a spade, dog. Whatever. But it goes like this, man. Your boy isn't making $60,000 a fight if it's not for me, okay? If it's not for me, he's getting fucked up by Jamie Hart, because guess what? Jamie was actually better than Scott, okay? It's just that I gave Scott the tools to knock him out and yada yada, and then your punk ass son, forgetting where he came from, turn his back on me. That's a mistake. And what's going to happen is when I'm rich, I'm going to financially ruin you and your son. No shit. Why not? I'll be able to, okay? And my sons know this. And what we'll do is buy out the property around your house, Scott's house. Not Brandon's. I like Brandon. okay? Cool kid. And as a matter of fact, that little that little American Pie incident at the wedding, that wasn't his fault, man. That was his homeboys around him, you know, getting into a cruising altitude of fun, and then basically letting him hang himself, man. I mean, that was funny, nothing to be embarrassed about. And tell you what, man, I will eviscerate your son legally. I will humiliate him. I've already called him out, but he's too much of a punk to fuck with me. Yeah, it's amazing. If not for Dan Quinn teaching Scott Smith hands, he isn't shit. According to your other son, before he met me, he was a ground and pound guy. And then after he met me, he fell in love with his hands. Did he fall in love with James Irvin too? Wow. We'll figure that one out in film, man. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being gay. I think it's actually a defense mechanism of any animal species when the threat of overpopulation is looming. And it truly is, man, with humans. I mean, we're turning Earth into a parking lot. A lot of steel going into that, right? You know, I mean, if we keep having kids at the same pace, there's not going to be any room, man. That's not really your fault, but what is telling me that you fucking fired me because I didn't come in and kick ass and get your yard up to speed. That wasn't in the job description, dog, okay? Never told me that. And to be held accountable for it, unacceptable. So, it's your task to have your son help me validate Stevia so I can win a Nobel Prize and get famous and make a lot of money. And if he doesn't do that, like I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to clown his punk ass to the point where he will wish that he had come out and traded punches with me to, you know what, make up for everything that I gave him. And then, you know what, just like a scorpion, man, turn his back and acts like you don't know me, and then starts talking shit. And you know what? If I could do it all over again, Ed, I would not teach Scott Smith hands. I would let Jamie Hara maul him. And then when, well, if I didn't teach him hands, he probably doesn't blow up that Mexican. But when he comes pissing down his leg to, you know, help him out with that little gangbanging problem, you know, fear for his life and shit, what I would do is say, bon voyage, motherfucker. And when you're gone, I'm going to be playing the violin on your woman and making up for all the orgasms you didn't give her. And that's why she left you, punk, bitch, out, the end.